What's going on, folks? Today is September 13th, 2024, and today we're going to talk about printing, right? So I have been playing around with TradeStation, EasyLanguage for about a year or so now, and this is my first time printing to a file with the exception of stream reading and stream writing. So this is what I learned. So there's this thing called print where you can print a file, right? So here is file, and then so what you have to do is you have to take the path name of the file on your computer, put that after file, and then put that within a print statement, and then you can essentially print to this file whatever you want to, right? So okay, here we go. All right, so this is the data that was printed just with one of the scripts that I wrote. So I'm going to write something for you now. But with all this data here, what happens is if you write something else, if you do another print statement, it's just going to overwrite it. So you got to play around with it, figure out if it's what you need, or if you actually need to use a stream writer and write to that file so that you can append and you can actually add to it every time you write something new, or if you just kind of want that one-time write. So you see here that it says if you wanted to send the date to a new file named my data. So essentially, when it writes, it looks like it makes a new file. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring over. This is just a file area workspace that I'd already just kind of set up. Going to minimize this. And so we're going to print something. So we're going to print to that file. And then this is the path name that I'm using. And then what do we want to print? We want to print, close that. We're going to print the low. And we're going to print the low like every 10 ticks, right? So we're going to have something that's called count T, which means count ticks. I'm going to start it off as 0, and it'll be interbar persist because we do want to keep changing this number throughout within a bar. So on every bar, on every tick, we're going to count T plus equals 1. Okay, and then if we get to the 10th tick, then we're going to print the file. All right, so the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to say if mod, and mod is just returning the divisor, the remainder. So the remainder of the numerator over the divisor. So the numerator is going to be count ticks, so how many ticks we have, and then the divisor is going to be 10. So we're going to take whatever number divided by 10. If we get a remainder of 0, then it's divisible by 0, by 10, sorry. All right, so count T, all right, and then that is over 10. And if that's equal to 0, then we're going to print this statement out. Okay, and we've got to make that count T. And then also when we print that out, we need to reset that. We need to reset the 10 so that we go to 10 again. Well, I guess we don't need to reset it because it'll go from 10 to 20, 30, 40, 50, and it'll keep going. So yeah, we don't need to reset it because. And otherwise we could have just said, all right, so count T plus equal to 1, and then on every time count T is equal to 10, then we're going to do this, and then we'll reset count T equal to 0. So the way we have it set up now, we don't need to reset it. So I need to begin, but since we're only doing the one thing, we don't really need to begin in. All right, come back over here. Delete print is already on, and so whereas normally we have a print statement that prints out right here, we don't have that here. Okay, so I can do another print that'll print down there as well. We're going to print, let's just say new 10th tick. Let's do this on, so you see it's doing that for all of our historical bars. So we're only going to do this if we are on real-time bars. So if get app info AI real-time calc is equal to 1, then begin. So this is just saying that we are on real-time bars. Okay, so I re-verified it. Let's clear this out. All right, now there's not a lot of ticks going on right now just because it's after hours. It's about 4:30, so we're not getting a lot of ticks. But once we get that 10th tick, new 10th tick. See that? Okay, let's go over here. And when that printed, as far as I know, this would have reprinted a whole new an entirely new page. So let's clear that out. Got a second one. All right, we're gonna open. And okay, here we go. All right, so I just open it back up, and you see we have new prints here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So every time when we got a new 10th tick, it also printed this to the text file. All right, you see we just got a 5th one right here. It doesn't show up here because this is already open. So I don't know if I can reopen this while it's open. I think so. I'll just close it and then reopen it. And when I reopened it, you see 2, 4, 2, 4, 6. We got a 6th one now. 2, 4, 6. Yep. Okay. All right. So that's what it does now. Like I said, the question is what happens when you refresh this. When you refresh this. All right. So we're gonna turn this off. Turn it back on. All right, now that we turned it back on, let's go back to our file and see what it did. All right, so it didn't change anything with our file as of yet. Let's wait until we get that next tick, that next 10th tick, if you will, and see if it erased these. Okay, so we got a new one. Now let's see if it erases what was currently there. All right, so I open it back up. All right, now when I open it back up, now you see it's only got 1, right? So once you refresh this chart, it's going to start all the way back over. So it'll keep adding to it as you're going, but once you refresh this chart, it's going to refresh this print log, which, like I said, it has its uses, right? Now, if there's a way around that, I don't know, but I'm sure I'll come around to it at some point in time. Or if you guys know, then comment in the comment section, and I'll do a video of it because I love learning new things, and this is a new one that will help me. All right, and then also what I did today was, and I won't go over this right now, and this one took a long time, but I did just did something with fair value gaps. So I did a higher time frame and a lower time frame. And I've done something like this before, but it was not this good. It was not this good at all. I think I did it with bar number points. But essentially, you have the 5-minute time frame here. And so on the 5-minute time frame, whenever these fair value gaps are drawn, and I just did the very basic, right? So just creating a rectangle. I didn't extend the rectangle or anything like that. I didn't shut the rectangle off at any particular point. Didn't extend the rectangle. But when you have a fair value gap here, then it sends, this is the sender, and then this one up here is the receiver. Okay, so I'm gonna have to turn this one off and turn it back on. Let me turn this one off, because every time when you turn it off, actually when I turn this one on, what it does is it deletes the objects, it deletes the keys out of the dictionary that this created. That way it only runs through it one time as opposed to run through it multiple times. And I'm sure there's something else I could have done there, but that's the way I decided to do it. And that works for me. So I'm gonna turn it off, turn it back on. And now while I turn this back on, this is creating dictionary items that are then sent over to this receiver. So once I turn on the receiver, it'll receive them and then it'll delete them. Okay, so it received them and then it drew them and then it deletes them, right? So this fair value gap here is right here. This fair value gap here is right here. And as long as there is a bar date time that corresponds from this chart to this chart, it'll draw it, right? So 10 seconds or a 5-second chart should work as well. But it's already deleted it out of here though, right? It's already deleted out of the global dictionary. This was sent to a global dictionary. And once I drew it that first time, I deleted it out of the global dictionary. So now I'd have to go and I'd have to turn this back off and turn it back on to put them in the global dictionary. And then I'll come back here and then toggle that one as well. So you know what? I think I will, because I don't like that I have to turn it off and turn it back on. I need to figure out a way that I can reproduce my rectangles, my objects, without having to turn it off and turn it back on. Okay, there we go. All right, so on 5-second time frame, there they are. All right, you see on 5-second time frame, whatever this one was, this one here, price came back down, touched it, tried to move up, came down. Anyway, we won't get into the metrics right now. This was just simply an episode about printing to a file. And essentially, like I said, it prints a new file. Okay, I'm Eric. I'm out. Peace.